World UFO Day. Is President Donald Trump about to reveal aliens have visited Earth? Will he be forced to do so? In 1947, July 4th exactly, what happened was that there was an alien craft that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. That happened on July 4th. It was reported to the press on July 8th by Roswell Army Airfield RAAF Public Information Officer Walter Haut. World UFO Day has indicated more and more that people believe aliens exist and may have even visited the Earth. John Austin reports for Express UK. Alien chasers hope the annual event will pressure world leaders to release top-secret flying saucer files, X-files, disclosure on UFOs and alien technology, and even admit that a massive cover-up over alien life has been going on for years. UFOers have been keeping their eyes on the skies to celebrate the global fascination with the flying saucer. There are some fascinating images here in this article. I'll leave a link below for you, Express UK. The black and white images are quite old. Some of them are from 1929, 1932, a few months after the Pearl Harbor incident, a fleet of UFOs swarming at night over Pearl Harbor, etc. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. Now, this event is now in the 17th year, UFO Day. According to World UFO Day website, it's dedicated to raising awareness about the undoubted existence of UFOs and with that intelligence beings from outer space, in other words, alien beings. The website also is part of a campaign to get international governments to declassify their X-files on UFO sightings throughout their history. It's convinced that something might be about to happen. An article to coincide with this year's event said, quote, "We at World UFO Day feel something is in the air. Since December 21st, a lot of interesting turns have made. The UFO community believe that there will be a release. The image of UFO believers has made a shift. People around us are opening up to the truth that has been there all along. Is it time for the truth about UFOs to come out in 2017? So this website believes President Trump could be the key. And it said when Trump first became president, there were many hopeful signs that his push for more transparent and accountable government would translate into greater openness, where the truth would finally come out about UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Whistleblowers were ready to come forward to testify about a host of illegal government activities if they were given protection to reveal their secrets. This culminated in the belief that disclosure of extraterrestrial life was imminent early in the Obama administration. 4 years later, those early hopes look positively naive. They have Stephen Greer here has an embedded video. Also, the fact that Paul Hellyer, the former Canadian Minister of Defense, has for many decades been coming out stating that he has been a witness to UFOs in Canada, and he's been giving the details about UFOs and aliens working with each other, aliens giving technology, new technology to especially the American military and government, and the fact that former US presidents knew of aliens and that they're also in underground bunkers helping with new technology, modern technology, etc. Government transparency did not open up national security archives to researchers, and whistleblower protection did not happen after all. The Trump administration went on record to disavow any interest in investigating claims that Roswell crash really involved otherworldly UFOs, and there was no disclosure of extraterrestrial life visiting our world. But what has changed 4 years after Obama's first presidential election is that the world is better prepared for accepting extraterrestrial life if it exists or not. The website said a recent survey found 80 million Americans, that's 36% of the US population, believe UFOs are real. A separate Express survey, Express UK, the paper survey, found that 36% of people asked who is most likely to reveal the existence of aliens, thought it would be Donald Trump. A whopping 37,800 people responded to the online survey as saying that Mr. Trump could be the disclosure president. Britain's X-Files reveal secret UFO hotbed in Skegness. The Ministry of Defense documents, referred to as Britain's X-Files, reveal a UFO hovered over Skegness for hours, but the RAF were told to stay away. Sean Martin reports for Express UK. Declassified reports making up 15 files, uncovering shocking revelations, boosting claims that aliens once visited Britain. The most prominent case came in October 5th, 1996. That's when several witnesses reported seeing rotating flashing lights above the Wash in Skegness in Lincolnshire. That's on the east coast of England, facing the continental European area. Despite panic among locals, the RAF was overruled at the highest level and told to ignore the potential threat. Police statements from the time reveal witnesses reporting seeing bright flashing red, blue, and white lights hovering stationary in the sky. The lack of response from British officials prompted strong criticism of them. The then Defense Secretary Michael Portillo, which described the military's lack of reaction as an absolute shambles. A letter from the unnamed government official on House of Commons headed paper read, quote, "I am very concerned about an incident that occurred off the Anglian coast recently involving a visual unidentified flying craft, sighting which was correlated by various different military radar systems." So it was picked up on radar as well. The letter adds that it was incredible that no aircraft were scrambled when an uncorrelated target was picked up so close to the coast. Well, that goes without saying, because it could have been an enemy craft of some type and it would have been invading UK territory. So UK aircraft or Air Force had to go and scramble and get it out of the way, unless they believed it was a UFO and were scared to go up. Now, the unnamed writer then asks why RAF Coningsby, which was stationed just a few miles away, were overruled at the highest level, and why police recordings of the incident disappeared into the bowels of your ministry's main building, they said, in a revelation which is bound to excite alien conspiracy theorists. The document then reads, quote, "The RAF is supposed to, or so I believe, to be keeping a watchful eye on activity in the UK, but seems to have no idea what is going on. Do they have standard procedures for these incidents? They had enough time to think about it because the object was on our radar for upwards of 7 hours. 7 hours? And they didn't scramble it?" And it goes on to say, "While I am interested in finding out what was seen, my primary concern stems from the absolute shambles that such events can cause." End quote. The documents state that following an official probe, experts concluded that it was a natural phenomenon stemming from a celestial source, whatever that means. The closed case reads, quote, "The prolonged sighting of stationary colored flashing lights reported by the Skegness police on October 5, 1996, had no significance for the integrity of UK airspace, and no associated air vehicle was detected by civil or military radars." Now, despite the official conclusion, UFO theorists believe that this is not the end of the story due to the way in which the Ministry of Defense released the files. Nick Pope, a former Ministry of Defense employee who worked for the government's UFO project in 1991 to 94, said, quote, "The release of these real-life X-Files shows that the UFO mystery lives on and that there's still huge interest in this fascinating topic. These files will give people a revealing insight into the bizarre and intriguing aspect of Ministry of Defense business. Sadly, there's no smoking gun in these files that will prove we've been visited by extraterrestrials, but there are plenty of intriguing UFO reports as well as policy papers explaining how the Ministry of Defense handled this subject. The lack of a smoking gun and the fact that these files seem to have been slipped out without a formal media announcement is bound to start some conspiracy theories, and I know that many people believe the good stuff is being held back. Furthermore, the fact that some files have not been digitized, cannot be downloaded, and can only be viewed in person in the National Archives will doubtlessly also generate conspiracy theories.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Freedom Fighter Times. I want to share this image with you that was sent to us, and it was from a personal account on Facebook. That's the original source. I don't believe anybody else has got this as of now, but I'm sure they will after we make this video. Because this right here is very interesting. This took place in Yago, Mexico on March 26, 2016, the day before Easter Sunday. And I've said it that way because we need to call it what it is. It is nothing related to Jesus Christ. It's nothing related to Christianity. It's Easter Sunday that's been dedicated to the deities and idols of the world, not God. So there's a big difference between that. We should keep it separated. Now, as for what is on this screen here, again, this took place in Yago, Mexico. And there's this crazy cloud figure, portal, ball, something. Who knows what it is? Well, I think I've found just about what it is, because there is no clear-cut answer to exactly what it is. So if you have a suggestion, or if you think you've seen it before, you know what it is, whatever, put it in the comments. Seriously, I mean, it's good to start discussions on what exactly is in the clouds over Mexico right now, because if this next image, there appears to be an origin, and that origin appears to be from the sun. And as you can see, it is clearly dropping down from the cloud line, from the sun, and it's clearly heading towards the earth. Let's get a close-up here. In this close-up, we can kind of make more of a definitive answer as to what it's beginning to look like. As you can see, on each side there are two wings where the rainbows are. You can also see a complete circle in the middle, as well as something appears to pop up here, whether that's just the cloud messing up or whatever, but there's definitely something popping up right here. And I couldn't tell if there was a tail or what have you, right? But anyway, so we have a clear circle here. We have two wings here, and we have another tail going off on this end, right? That you could almost say is feathers. So let's keep going. Before we go into exactly what I think this is, I want to show you something else. If you remember this image here, I want you to look at the bottom right of your screen. Do you see any name that kind of sticks out? Monsanto. Monsanto. What the hell are they doing there? I just thought that was weird. It was in the image. Very strange. Anyways, back to the image. Now, as I've clearly shown you what it looks like, what we can see up close, we can even go a little bit further. As you can see, there's a clear ball there. There's definitely two wings on this side, or two straight lines around the ball. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a tail going off on the side here, as well as there's something right here or something right here, okay? So let's back it up again. Let me recenter that image. And now I'm going to go into exactly what I think it is. Uh-oh. There we are. This is a figurine or an idol dedicated to Baal. B-A-A-L. I say Baal. Apparently it's pronounced Baal. Whatever. Anyways, the important part is that we've got the exact two wing structures. We've got some sort of a tail at the bottom, and we've got a circle in the middle with something coming out at the top. It is no coincidence that Easter is a day away, and it's no coincidence that we have the temples to Baal popping up all over the world next month. This is such an abomination. That's what it is. Plain and simple. Let's go back to the image. Let's zoom in again. Now, hang on. There we are. If you can't tell, it's pretty close. Let's look at this image here. Got a side-by-side. This one I think gives the bottom right, I think that gives the best depiction of what it is. Because literally, I don't think you're going to find anything else that looks as close. This is a physical representation of him Okay, so let me give you the craziness of this, because if you go back just a couple images, remember it's falling from the sun. That's very important. So Nimrod died, became Baal, and we have Ishtar, which is a representation of the moon, supposedly in mythology, whatever you want to call it. And then Ishtar gave birth to Baal's son, which would be Tammuz, which would mean that Tammuz was birthed from the sun, if we were to follow this mythology, correct? Okay, so we literally have a Baal or a Baal representation coming down from the sun in the shape of the clouds, or in the clouds, in the shape of a figurine that is a representation of Baal. If that doesn't bear any more of a resemblance to it, I don't know what will for you. The other thing that's very strange is, of course, these temples that are being resurrected, if you want to call it that, all over the place. There's a very big problem with that. It's happened before. It's happened before, and it's happened before. And no, it hasn't happened in modern times as much. It's all been swept under the rug or hidden. It was done in Israel. Old Israel. Ancient Israel. It's been done time and time again. The people who follow God end up getting misled and deceived, and they follow Baal. And God then gets very angry. And typically a war or a foreign nation is brought against his people who have fallen away. Because in the timeline of the end, the great falling away comes first. Alright, so now we're going to jump to a quick little side note. We posted this. Emma did a great job on this report here. CERN praising the beast, Easter Nazi hive mind connection exposed. And in the beginning of this, we put all of the Easter information as the non-exclusive or non-unlimited, which is if you don't know by now, we offer exclusive content. It's heavily researched information. Check it out if you want to see it. But for now, for the free stuff that we have in this part, which you can find anywhere online, is literally about Ishtar. And I want to explain this to you. I'm going to read this to you. Ishtar, which is pronounced Easter, was a day that commemorated the resurrection of one of their gods, that they called Tammuz, who was believed to be the only begotten son of the moon goddess and the sun god. In those ancient times, there was a man named Nimrod, who was the grandson of one of Noah's son named Ham. Ham had a son named Cush, who married a woman named Semiramis. Cush and Semiramis then had a son named Nimrod. After the death of his father, Nimrod married his own mother and became a powerful king. The Bible tells us of this man, Nimrod, in Genesis chapter 10, verses 8 through 10 as follows. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Nimrod became a god-man to the people and Semiramis. His wife and mother became the powerful queen of ancient Babylon. Nimrod was eventually killed by an enemy, and his body was cut in pieces and sent to various parts of his kingdom. Semiramis had all of the parts gathered except for one part that could not be found. The missing part was his reproductive organ. Semiramis claimed that Nimrod could not come back to life without it, and told the people of Babylon that Nimrod had ascended to the sun and was now to be called Baal, the sun god. Queen Semiramis also proclaimed that Baal would be present on the earth in the form of a flame, whether candle or lamp, when used in worship. Semiramis was creating a mystery religion, and with the help of Satan, she set herself up as a goddess. Semiramis claimed that she was immaculately conceived. She taught that the moon was a goddess, that went through a 28-day cycle and ovulated when full. She further claimed that she came down from the moon in a giant moon egg that fell into the Euphrates River. This was to have happened at the time of the first full moon after the spring equinox. Semiramis became known as Ishtar, which is pronounced Easter, and her moon egg became known as Ishtar's egg. Ishtar soon became pregnant and claimed that it was the rays of the sun god, Baal, that caused her to conceive. The son that she brought forth was named Tammuz. So, every year, on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox, a celebration was made. It was Easter Sunday and was celebrated with rabbits and eggs. Now let's review this one more time. So we've got one representation of Baal. We've got also Ishtar falling, or whatever you descending, descending to the earth in the shape of an egg. Just in case somebody said that was an egg, I wanted to bring that representation to you. But here, both of them tied to Baal. Now, in the same week, in the very same week, they are also stating that Baal's temples are going to pop up in New York, they're going to pop up in London, and then thousands more are going to show up across the globe. These are the end times, ladies and gentlemen. And this right here is potentially yet more proof that the powers that be and the people of the world have well, the powers that be know what they're doing, but the people of the world have absolutely no idea and who they're invoking. They're invoking Satan. They're invoking the Antichrist. This is a potential representation of that. Now let me reiterate. This took place on March 26, 2016. One day before Easter Sunday. One day. It is very well known in the occult world that they practice their rituals typically on Saturday nights. This appeared on Saturday. The very next day was Easter. Coincidence? I think not. Just remember that, because that's very important. So, in this image here that's compiled, I want to know what you guys think. If you really think that this is a depiction or a representation of the deity Baal. Because personally, I have really found that this appears to be the same representation that has been done throughout history. Through idols, through figurines, through whatever. It appears to be very similar, if not identical. Let me know what you guys think. Crazy, crazy things are happening all over the world. If you are not saved, I suggest you get so today. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. God bless and carry on.